This is an overview for September 28th. We will wrap up writing this week. Today, the learning target is to get to know a CER, what a CER paragraph includes, and you will be successful if you meet the success criteria. We'll go through each one of those, look at some celebrations and exemplars, which are good examples of how to complete different parts of the CER. We will review embedding textual evidence, look at MLA format if time, and you will have some warnings and common errors for CERs that you can look for in your own rough draft. And we will take a look at examples, reasoning versus summary. One celebration that I found is that claims are complete sentences that address the prompt in the rough drafts, and claims are focused on the author's purpose and what the audience should gain from the article. Here's an example that we will go through together in class. The brackets with SIC indicate that this is the original form of the example that I took from student work. In this case, it indicates that there is an error, which is author should not be capitalized. So let's take a look. This focuses on the author's purpose to explain. And this claim has next steps are to include who the potential audience is as part of the prompt, and to include a clear reference to the real-world problems that will be explained later in the paragraph. And we will look at an additional example of claim during class. Now you will have some time in class to look at your own claim and have a chance to get feedback on your claim by putting it in the chat. And think about what you can do to improve. Then we will take a look at textual evidence and embedding textual evidence and citing it. Here's the checklist for embedding textual evidence and citing textual evidence. In the chat, does this have everything it needs, or does it need something else? Then you're going to have an opportunity to look at your own textual evidence and use the checklist to review your textual evidence and see what you might need to do to improve your rough draft. There will be additional resources on Canvas for today. This is a good slide to take a picture of. Warnings and common errors. These are writing no-nos. I think, in my opinion, my claim, my first example, I believe, and anything like that. These are you statements, personal statements, and the article's not about you. The paragraph's not about you. This shows that common no-no, and we'll look at how to avoid that. Reasoning is summary instead of explanation, calling your quote out by saying this quote, or here's a quote, my first quote, or anything like that. And then, of course, a no-no is using quotations that are far, far too long. Here's an example of reasoning, a good slide to take a picture of. Here's a good example of what summary does. Here is an example that we will go over in class with a summary and then actual reasoning so that you can take a look at your own work and decide if you have been writing summary for commentary or if you have been doing reasoning. I'll remind you of the tool for writing effective commentary and reasoning, and you're going to identify your own reasoning and double check that it isn't summary. You will have time for this in class and complete it for homework. If there's time, we'll look at MLA formatting, otherwise that will be moved until Tuesday. And finally, before you go, you will have a chance to do a self-assessment based on the success criteria and think about how many success criteria you have met and your next steps for homework.